Hey everyone, welcome back. If this is your first time here, my name is Alex, and if you have been here for a while, you've maybe noticed that I have moved, so this is my new place. So from now on, I'm going to be making my videos here. Today we're going to talk about something I get asked about a lot, and that's knees that hyperextend and how to stretch without pain in your joints. So some people call it banana knees, and the medical term for it is this. So now on the screen you can see 4 types of postures. I personally am the one with lordosis, so my knees don't hyperextend, they don't even actually fully extend, so I have to kind of work on the opposite thing of what I'm going to be talking about in this video. The posture we're talking about is the one where your hips are pushed a little bit further forwards and your knees extend a little bit too much, so they go backwards. The thing I recommend the most is, of course, going and seeing a physio for it, as they are a professional that will be able to help you. However, I have studied physiotherapy as well, and I have done a little bit of research on this, and I want to share what I have found. We're going to start with a few exercises that are going to help you understand the correct positioning for your legs. Then we're going to do a few strengthening exercises, and at the end I'm going to show you how to stretch not to aggravate it. Let's get started. So we're going to start with bending our leg. Then from here, I'm going to extend my leg to where the middle, the correct position is for my leg. I'm going to stay here for 5 seconds, and then I'm going to extend fully as much as you can into your hyperextension, just to feel what the position we don't want to be in is. And you're going to repeat this 5 times. So I bend a little bit, straighten to the middle, the correct position for my knees, hold it for 5 seconds, and then straighten my leg into the fully extended position for my leg. You can repeat this 5 to 10 times, doing it on both legs. We're going to do it facing away from the band, and we're going to do it facing towards the band. This chair is definitely not the best thing you want to use for this exercise. So you usually either want someone to be holding a band or have it attached to something that doesn't move like my chair. So I'm here and I'm going to be doing the same thing the other way. So I start with my leg a little bit bent. I have tension in my band the whole time. Then from here, I'm going to straighten my leg into where the correct position for my leg is, so in the middle, and then I'm going to fully extend all the way into my hyperextension. I'm going to bend again, straighten to the middle, the correct position, hold for 5 seconds, and then fully extend all the way. So what this exercise does is that it helps your brain to remember what the correct position for your legs is, so you don't hyperextend and sink into that position that's not great for your knees. So even though it doesn't feel like this exercise does much for us, it is super important that we do it consistently, just so our brain can remember where the correct position is for us. The next thing we're going to do is 2 strengthening exercises. So as we saw on the picture at the beginning, when you have hyperextended knees, you most likely will also have hips that go forwards like this. So I really want to make sure we're strengthening our quads, strengthening our hip flexors, so we can sink our hips a little bit back, and this will also take the hyperextension off our knees. So a good exercise for this is a squat. So I'm going to stand hip width apart between my feet. My feet are turned out just a slightly bit, and I'm going to be coming down to 90 degrees, coming back up. And you can be doing 3 sets of 10. When you're done with your 3 sets of 10, you're going to be holding for 30 seconds. You can repeat this 2 to 3 times. The next exercise is a strengthening exercise for hamstrings. So I'm going to come up to my knees for my starting position. If you have an elastic band attached to the wall that you can wrap around your foot, you can do it for this one, or you can use an ankle weight. I'm then going to lift my leg up, and from here I'm going to be bending my leg all the way in and straightening my leg. Bending all the way in and straightening my leg. And you can go for 30 of these on one side and then 30 on the other side, repeating it 2 to 3 times. So this is the last part of this video, and I'm going to tell you how to stretch without feeling that pain in your knees. So the first thing we're going to start with is how to stretch our hamstrings without feeling that pain. So like we did in the exercise with the band before, when I stretch my hamstrings, I never want to fully extend my leg and sink into my hyperextension. So I want to make sure I'm squeezing my quad and I'm keeping a little bit of a bend in my leg. It looks very bent on my leg because I don't have hyperextensive legs, but for you it's going to look straight. And from here I'm going to be doing the same. So I'm arching my back and stretching my hamstring just the same way I usually would, but I don't fully extend my leg. Another thing you can do is to focus on stretching your hip flexors. So we often stretch the back of our legs a lot, but for a good split, it is really important to have a lot of hip flexor flexibility as well. So you can focus on doing a lot of lunging stretches. But what if you're stretching your splits and it is so hard for you to keep that little bit of a bend in the front leg? We can be using a pillow, a towel, or a block. So I'm just using my pillow here. I'm going to come into my splits, and I don't want to fully extend my front leg, so I keep my knee on my pillow. If you're quite flexible and you need a block under your front leg, you can be putting a block under your front leg, and you always want to make sure that the pillow or whatever you're using under your knee is high enough to give you a little bit of a bend in your splits. Another way of stretching your front splits without the pain is, instead of coming into a fully extended split, I'm going to be coming into a super deep lunge. So my front leg is almost extended. I still feel it stretch through my hamstrings, but just not as intense as it would if my leg was straightened, but this also protects the back of my knee from the pain. And last but not least, I know that a lot of you get this pain in your middle splits, and there are things we can do for that as well. I'm not going to be showing any strengthening exercises for that, but I'm going to show you how you can stretch without the pain. If you're maybe this low into your middle split or further up, you want to make sure that you're stretching by a wall. So you're going to have your hips by a wall, and then you're going to be opening your legs to the sides. And if someone is helping you stretch, always ask them to push down on your thighs and not your feet. If you're stretching using the floor, you want to make sure that you're going to be putting a pillow under one knee if that takes the pain of both. If that doesn't take the pain of both, you're going to be putting a pillow or something under both knees. So I come into my middle splits, use my pillow under one knee, a block or a pillow under my other knee, and you're going to notice that it is much harder to come all the way down into your middle split, and that's fine. As long as we can save our knees from the pain, we can ask someone to push our hips down. If you stretch with a pillow or you stretch with pillows and blocks under your knees, you will still be able to get into your full splits. So this just takes the tension off our training. Once you get flexible enough to be flat in your middle split, you will be able to do it on the floor without the pillows, just because there's not going to be that much pressure on your knees, because your hips will be able to open more. I hope this helped you a little bit. There are many things you can do to help this problem, but these are just a few simple solutions you can apply to your training straight away. If you have any questions, please let me know. And always remember that it is best to see a physio, a professional that can assess your injury, as I'm not able to see you and the exact injury that you're having. But feel free to message me on Instagram and I will try to help you the best I can. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week.